Hi, my name is Yash, and I'm a rising sophomore at Leland High School. Again, my project is the ball tracking robot, which I picked because I wanted to learn more about OpenCV and the Raspberry Pi Linux architecture. So right now, I just completed my final milestone, which means I've completed my ball tracking software, and my robot can efficiently identify and move to the location of the ball, and it also has obstacle detection, which is pretty cool. So actually looking at the code that I've created for my final milestone, it's pretty long and it has a lot of layers, which are mostly logic. I first start with setting up all of my different functions like my ultrasonic sensors, my camera, and my motors. And I define a few functions to detect whether there's an obstacle in front of the robot and whether the ball is in frame. Then I go through a bunch of different logic scenarios. The first thing I do is check whether there's an obstacle in front of the robot for safety so that it doesn't run into a wall. And then I move through a lot of logic stages to check whether the ball is actually in the frame, whether the ball was previously detected, and where the ball was last detected, so that if the robot loses track of the ball or the ball moves out of frame, the robot can remember the last place the ball was at and move to that direction. So if I run this code, you can see that the cameras will start setting up and the robot will start moving. And you can see that even though I've slowed it down because it's on the table, the robot can efficiently move to it. And if the ball gets too close, it'll stop and it'll move towards the ball. And if I put my hand in front of it, the ball will stop. The robot will stop because I have obstacle detection on, and the robot can identify the ball really quickly. So my main challenge in building this code was actually the logic, because I have a lot of if elif functions in my code, and these obviously had a lot of logic involved in them, and a lot of them had some edge cases that made it so that the code would break when it hit one of those edge cases. So I really had to go through and make sure that all of the cases were covered in my code, and there were no like exterior cases that made the entire code break. And so now I'll move on to building some cool modifications for my robot. I'm thinking of adding a display or maybe even servo hands to my camera to make it more functional and more appealing. Thank you.